Hey everyone, it's Brano, and I participated in the GMTK Game Jam for 2025 with an artist called Maze and a musician called Needles. And our theme was Loop, which is, let's be real, one of the easiest themes you could have for a game jam. So our submission was called Time Mouse. So I'm just going to bring this up here. So this is the game here. You can play it on our itch. I'll have a link in the description. And there is an opening cinematic. I'm just gonna hide myself for now, but we made an opening cinematic for this, or at least Maze this, and then I had to force it together, and then Needles had to create a MP3 file that matched it perfectly. So the idea of the game is that you are a mouse that is within a world loop. So you move from left to right, and you can eventually end up at the exact same spot that you did previously. So you can also talk to NPCs and stuff, and they'll give you clues on what's going on and that such. So the idea of the game is that after a minute, the time is going to loop back as well. So it's a loop within a loop. So it's a time loop within a world loop. And you have to work out how to stop the time loop. And eventually, and I guess part of the puzzle is working out that you are in a time loop and that you need to work. So you can see right here that you've ended up at the exact same spot that you used to be. And now with the time ending, it's going to reset and you're back to where you once were. So we're going to end that here. So I made my I Need an Artist video, and a lot of people contacted me and reached out. I really appreciate anyone who did that. Maze was the first person who contacted me. I like talking to him and I liked his art style, so I teamed up with him to do GMTK. It seemed like a pretty obvious win-win for the both of us, and I also included my musician friend Needles to help us out with making the game. Doing a little bit of research on the jam, the theme was going to come out at 3 a.m. So I just told him, you come up with the idea because I'm going to be asleep. And he did. So upon 3:30 a.m. when I was asleep, he was posting images about what he wanted and what he thought would be cool. So this is the first sort of real introduction of this, which is you're platforming in a giant loop, you got a clock hand tool, and you're going to play as a little mouse. And here is the first sketch, which is kind of cool of him prototyping his idea and his creativity. Here's the world he made, and you've already seen all that in the real game, but this was the first draft of it. And here is a draft of the dialogue tree that I had to implement. Now, I have never implemented a dialogue-based game before, so this was a new challenge for me. So when I woke up, I went, oh, I wasn't expecting this. All right, well, you know, I don't have any other better ideas, and honestly, I think the idea in itself is pretty cool, so I want to see where this goes. So I just gave it the thumbs up, and then I went to do work on my regular job because it was a Thursday and it was a work day. So he continued to do design work throughout his night, and by the time I finally got to be able to work on the game, I had a lot of stuff that I could do, which was just basically implementing what he put in. So you can see this right here, that after a couple of hours after work, I was able to implement the very basic mechanics of the game, which was creating a loop that you could walk around, as well as a NPC that you could interact with and have text and all that. So you can see soon going to be able to loop back into where you found the NPC, and yeah, that is the base mechanics of the game. Now this is where it looks like on Sunday morning, which is basically the final day I get to work on this jam, where you get to see basically all the art. Well, some of the art being implemented. There's still so much art I've got to implement. Maze has created a lot of art that I need to put in, and I've got a lot of work under my belt. Like, this game does not have a lot of moving parts, it just has a lot of parts, and it has so many parts that you have to deal with. Now, in terms of our overall ranking, let's just get this up. This is what the scores are, and I've averaged this out, and it is a 3.6624. Now, there is no overall rating for GMTK 2025. Maybe that will come later, but I'm just going to do my own quick calculations now and base it off the 2024 Game Jam. So if we had that score of 3.6624 in the 2024 Game Jam, we would have come 1016th. And in the 2025 Game Jam, that means we would have come 1320th, putting us in the top 14% of all game submissions, which is definitely the best I've done in a Game Jam. Now, I would say that there are two main issues with our game, which is people thought it was impossible to finish. So there are two reasons as to why I think this is the case. Number one is that the time doesn't stop when you're reading something. So if you talk to an NPC, the time continues. If you're reading a note on the door, the time continues. So you're kind of stressed out. So you're not given like a relaxation period to just read something and understand what is going on. And you don't want to lose 30 seconds of progress when you get to the book just to reset. It's kind of annoying, and I really wish I put a pause in that period so that people could actually like say, okay, cool, I can now relax and chill. Instead, the timer just continues to go on, and there's not really any relaxation period. It's just stress throughout, so that's annoying. The other thing is that the puzzles were maybe just a little bit too cryptic, but I think that if you paused for when you're reading something, or maybe pause when you're talking to an NPC, that could have solved the issue, and maybe the puzzles from that wouldn't have been too cryptic. But anyway, overall, I think that the team worked very well together. I'm really impressed with the artwork. Like, it looks good. Like, it's just a really good looking game. So I really appreciate what Maze was able to do, because there's so many art assets in this. Like, I am amazed by how much art Maze was able to make during the 4-day period. It was incredible, and it was a pain in the ass implementing all of it. So I'm really happy with how things went. Yeah, it would be nice to one day get like in the top 1% of game jams in one of these competitions, but maybe next year, who knows. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a good one. Bye.